Okay, let's discuss some of these latest developments with Mehran, Professor of Government at Georgetown University here in Qatar. He's also the Director of Iranian Studies Unit at the Arab Center for Research and Policy Studies. He joins us, as I said, live here from Doha. Good to have you on the program. It's not exactly clear how the US Navy plans to enforce this blockade on Iranian ports in the Strait of Hormuz. Will they stop and check ships? Will they try to shut traffic down altogether? Your thoughts when you heard the US president announce this plan?
Well, the president has once again engaged in extremist rhetoric. And as you just mentioned, the devil is in the details. Can they actually enforce a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz in order to undo another blockade that they're worried about? And so, although technically it can be done, but of course, we will have to wait and see how the Iranians would react. Ultimately, this really leads to a disruption of flow of any traffic in and out of the Strait of Hormuz. And that would be extremely costly for all parties involved, particularly those not involved in the war, the GCC states, for example.
As you say, essentially, we're going from one blockade to two blockades. Now, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard says it will respond strongly to this move by the US. What do you think that will entail in practice?
Well, we have seen that the Revolutionary Guards have not hesitated to hit energy supplies or energy facilities here in the Persian Gulf states. And so this is one thing they can do. There's also the Bab el-Mandeb Strait and what the Houthis might do. What we saw, Marlene, in this conflict is that the Iranians have consistently surprised us. We thought the axis of resistance was dead. It turned out that it wasn't. We thought that the Iranians would buckle early on. They didn't. We didn't realize the Iranians would hit GCC states. They did. So we might still be in for a surprise insofar as Iran is concerned.
What about the use of mines, fast attack boats and such, and possibly even the help of allies like China and Russia to navigate this?
Well, the use of mines is extremely low tech. And apparently Iran has already done so, and it has lost track of those mines, which adds to the hazardous journey through the Strait of Hormuz these days. But I think there are some indications that China and Russia are giving Iran intelligence information, but not necessarily supplies. But if this war drags on, and if this war continues to polarize regional as well as global politics, I think there's no telling how countries like Russia, China, and others might react.
China, of course, one of the major buyers of Iranian oil. It's unlikely to just accept this and just sit back, is it?
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, this blockade by the United States, if it is to happen, would hurt China and China's economy as much as it would hurt Iran. And it would take some time for China to find alternative suppliers. I mean, technically they can do so, but if the strait is closed and Saudi, Kuwaiti, and Qatari ships and Emirati ships are not going through it, then of course this will be extremely detrimental to the Chinese, who are not likely to kind of tolerate this in the long run.
Mehran, what is your sense of where we go from here? Is there any prospect of a return to talks? How much appetite is there, do you think, on either side?
I don't think either side wants to see an escalation of the conflict, but President Trump, in some ways, is a victim of two things. First, his own extremist rhetoric. He likes the term obliterate, and he likes to obliterate this and that. And then the other is the kind of maverick nature or expansionist nature of Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's policies. So if, both sides look for off-ramps, but if Trump can hold his rhetoric in check and can hold Netanyahu in check, we saw significant progress in Islamabad, except on one or two key sticky issues. And there is a basis for negotiations there if the two sides are willing to go back to the negotiating table.
Mehran, always good to get your thoughts. Mehran Lamrava, Professor of Government at Georgetown University in Qatar.